The following video has got all the information you need to know going into Game Week 3. So as we do with all of these videos, I've got the top players by position for expected points according to my friends at Draft Town. Now for the goalkeepers, top of the list this week is Ederson. Sheffield United away is probably literally the best fixture you can ask for in the Premier League at the moment, so no surprise to see Ederson top of the list. Onana, a very close second with Nottingham Forest at home. I suggest those on Man United players, they keep the faith for one more game. Forest at home, one of the best fixtures again that you can ask for, and I expect Man United to do quite well in that one. Sanchez, I think he's probably now the best 4.5 million keeper. I know Chelsea have not kept a clean sheet yet, but they did show signs against West Ham, and I've just got a feeling they really switch it on. They seem to be like almost finding their way. There's been a lot of abuse hurled at them after their loss against West Ham, but they just need a bit of time to click, in my opinion. But with the run that they're about to go on, I think Sanchez probably emerging as the best 4.5 million keeper. One more goalkeeper to talk about, as I imagine quite a few people watching this video might have him or be interested in him. Sam Johnston. It looks like Dean Henderson is of interest to Crystal Palace, which obviously puts Sam Johnston's place in a little bit of doubt. So just one to monitor there on the goalkeepers, and you can see the rest of them for points there. Next up then, we've got the defenders. Now there's one omission from this list being Trent Alexander-Arnold. With Newcastle away, he has a tough fixture anyway, but he's currently orange flag. He's a doubt, which means he doesn't make the list so far this week. As the week goes on, I might be able to share some more info about Trent. But top of the list so far is Chilwell, 5.4 expected points against Luton at home. Looking still, even in the West Ham game, he was taking up some really attacking positions. He did unfortunately get an early substitution, which I didn't quite understand why Pochettino did that. But I am expecting him to get back to winning ways against Luton at home and score me some points because he's in my team. Estupinian, been an absolute legend so far. West Ham at home's his next fixture. He's expected to get 5 points. Varane and Wan-Bissaka in third and fourth. And you can see the rest of the defenders on the list there. On then to the midfielders, and pretty much every week Salah tops the list, and it's no different this week. Newcastle away is obviously a tough fixture for Liverpool, and that's reflected in the points. Saka is only 0.3 expected points behind him, and that's obviously due to the fixtures. I wouldn't be surprised if Salah scored this week, but I don't think with that fixture you can consider him the best captain. Saka, Rashford, Martinelli, Diaz, and Bumo, who I really like. He's going to be spoken about in this video in a bit more detail later on. Bruno Fernandes and Rashford, just want to talk about those two. I think Bruno has looked really good from an underlying perspective in his first couple of games. It just happens to be that the ball hasn't been put in the back of the net, basically. Rashford's the one I'm worried about, though. It's not that he's retracted as a player. He just doesn't work as a number 9 in my position. Maybe when Højlund starts actually starting for Man United, he could become an option again. And maybe Martial gets a game and he plays on the left wing, because on the left wing is where Marcus Rashford makes the difference. One other player to mention, Maddison was pictured leaving the Tottenham Stadium at the weekend on crutches. So it's one to monitor going into Game Week 3. Forwards then, and it's absolutely no surprise with Sheffield United away. Haaland leads the list of forwards for expected points. Watkins, Isak, Wissa, who I really like. Jackson, who is about to go on a fantastic fixture run. And I know he's not got a return yet, but he looks absolutely fantastic. He looks ready-made for the Premier League the way that he's playing. And with the fixture run he's got, I wouldn't be surprised to see him get off with a goal against Luton. Solanke, João Pedro, obviously a controversial player this week being benched by De Zerbi. I'd hold the faith for one more week with Pedro because West Ham at home is a good fixture you can't really ignore. Then the fixtures for Brighton get a bit tougher and you could justify getting rid of him then, in my opinion. That's the forwards. Now for me this week, the captaincy is quite an easy one. Haaland's got Sheffield United at home. It's probably the best fixture you can ask for. He's a shoe-in, basically, in my opinion, as your captain. You've got Salah in second. I just think with the fixture that he's got, it's just too tough to justify captaining him. Although Saka with Fulham at home could do well. He's not compared to Haaland, in my opinion. He could be a slightly differential captain, but realistically this week, you can't ignore Haaland with that fixture. On now then to the clean sheet odds. Top of the list, we've got Man City. They're 60% this week to keep a clean sheet, as is Chelsea. Both Man City and Chelsea, according to Draft Hound at least, are more likely than not, according to their odds, to keep a clean sheet. We've got Arsenal 50-50, Man United 48, Brighton 42, Brentford 38, Everton 38, and Villa 36. I usually only like to talk about teams with above 30% clean sheet odds. I'd be uncomfortable starting a defender, certainly one that didn't get attacking returns, that's got less than 30% clean sheet odds, basically. So the teams, Villa and above, are the ones I'd look to play this week. Some transfer targets for this week then, and my number one target, if you don't have him already, is Bryan Mbeumo. He looks to be taking that talisman position off of Ivan Toney and taking the penalties for Brentford. Looks really good. 3 goals in 2 games so far, and I know he's 6.6 million, might even be 6.7 by the time this video comes out, but given, you know, the 6.5 million mids at the start of the season, there was a bit of a hoo-ha about which one to pick. I think Mbeumo is emerging as the best. Now, I know Mitoma and March have got off to good starts. They got European football and lots of players in their position to rotate with, whereas Mbeumo, he's pretty much nailed to start every game. Started 36 of 38 last season, and without Europe, he's got no real expected minutes worries, in my opinion. Seems to be linking up really well with Wissa, and he's got a great set of upcoming fixtures as well. The Newcastle away one there is the only difficult one, and I still think, you know, Brentford could score in that one. Crystal Palace at home, Bournemouth at home, Newcastle away, Everton at home, and Forest away. Great set of fixtures for who I think is a great player. Now, it's unusual of me to be recommending Man City midfielders, but with KDB being injured, Mahrez being off to, well, he's obviously gone to Saudi Arabia, and Bernardo Silva being a bit of a doubt at the moment with injury, I really do feel like Phil Foden is a good option. And with the fixtures Man City have got, look at those 5 fixtures. They're fantastic. Sheffield United, Fulham, West Ham, Forest and Wolves. You got to think Foden gets off to the start that he deserves to have, the quality of player that he is this season. He's always, of course, an expected minutes risk, don't get me wrong, but I think with the fixtures that he's got and the record he had last season, only started 22 games, scored 11 goals and got 6 assists. Even if he doesn't start all of those games, I still think he's a really good option. And just to note on his average position, the previous 3 games that he has played, he's been basically playing just in behind Haaland as the number 10. Looks really good to me, and I think he's a good option. And finally, this one admittedly is a little bit boring, but it might be the transfer that I make. I've got 2 free transfers and a team where I can't really justify selling anyone apart from my 4.5 million striker. And Semenyo, I think, is emerging as the best 4.5 million striker in the game at the moment. Seems to be starting now for Bournemouth. Scored against Liverpool at Anfield. I know it's not the most interesting transfer, but if you're looking rather than burning a transfer, you could spend it on Semenyo for a 4.5 million striker that seems to be the best. Alright, and that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave me a like rating on the video. Let me know in the comments what your plans are for Game Week 3, and subscribe to the Golden Goal channel just here if you want to see more content coming from me. And I'll catch you in my next video.